Welcome to H2O Splash. In this video we will discuss how to change RO filters. This one will be under the sink. Locate your RO, and if you installed it with extra line you can just pick it up, put it in your sink, and the first thing to do would be to shut off the water. This one has just the supply valve. Shut the supply valve off. And then we've got a shut off on top of the holding tank. So both of our waters are off. The next thing to do would be to come and release the pressure off of the system by just opening the RO spigot. And you can just leave it open. And then hopefully you've got your filter wrench out and your filters, the pre-filters and the post-filter. A lot of RO systems have 3 pre-filters. This particular one just has 2. After you've released pressure again, you can remove your filter housing fairly easily. Dump the water and the old filter out. Set it aside. Grab a new filter. And you may want to clean the housing before we do that. If the housing's dirty, you can clean it just with a mild detergent and water, and then check the O-ring. This particular one's being pesky and won't come out, but check the O-ring for extra dirt, and if it's dirty you can clean it off and use a food grade grease or a silicone grease that will lubricate the O-ring. It's always good to lubricate, have a good lubricated O-ring. Slip the new filter in. Hand tightening only on new filter, or on tightening. On loosening, a lot of times you need a wrench. Sometimes you may not, but it's good to have a wrench. Second filter would be a carbon filter, usually. And again, check your O-ring and clean your housing if you need to. Now on the carbon filter, you want to make sure that the seals on the carbon filter, like these, stay in place, but you also want to make sure that the seal doesn't stick into the bottom of the housing from the old filter. So make sure that old seal is out there, and also make sure up above inside the cap that the seal is not stuck up in there. If it's stuck and you end up with 2 seals in one position, you'll never get your filter housing tight. So these don't really require any lubrication though, but make sure both of your seals are in place. And I used to usually slide them in horizontally, that way you don't lose your seal on the way into the housing. Again, thread your housing back on and hand tighten. And if you're going to do your post filter at this time, the post filters, the majority of them these days are quick connect fitting. So all you have to do, again, you've turned your holding tank off, you've turned your main water off and relieved pressure. To remove the quick connect fitting, you push the ring in towards the filter and the hose should slide right out. And then on this end the same thing. Snap it out of the bracket. Grab a new one. And you make sure your direction of flow, this one particular one, is right to left. There might be some that are set up left to right. and you'll just have to turn it around. But make sure that direction of flow is going the right direction. Push your hose back into the new fitting. Ouch! Snap the filter on and be careful not to mash your finger. And then the faucet outlet fitting, or you may have, if you have a UV or some other equipment on the RO system, it might just loop over and go to a different spot. But this particular one just runs right up to the faucet. Push your hose in and make sure it bottoms out. So we have new filters in the RO system, this particular one pre and post filters. The next thing to do would be to turn the water back on and check for leaks. And just leave your RO spout faucet open. We'll go down and turn on the feed water to the RO. And it'll begin filling, and you can check for leaks. Make sure you don't have any leaks around your filter housings. And it takes a little bit to get through the RO membrane and this new post filter, but we always recommend letting a little bit of water flow out. And when I say a little bit, probably let this run at just production rate for 5 minutes probably. Once that has run through, then you can shut your RO spigot off. Go down to your RO holding tank, turn your holding tank back on, and then there'll be some carbon fines from the post filter that you'll want to flush out. You may want to take your RO system and put it back down if you have no leaks. And then turn your RO faucet on and release all the air and some of the carbon fines from that post filter. Usually, probably you're going to take at least a half a gallon to relieve the air and the carbon fines from the RO system. And if everything's good, no leaks, you've completed an RO filter change. Thanks for watching.